Michael Vasquez is a native New Yorker, a homeowner and local businessman, known for his work covering political news, issues and events, as well as political commentary that has been read over the internet in more than 100 countries, monthly for the past several years. A former stockbroker and currently a licensed insurance agent, Michael has served in the U.S. Marines and brings a unique perspective to the political arena. He brings a vision of conservatism and representation that has generally eluded Congress in our state. Some of us may be familiar with Michael from his speeches about freedom to speak our political beliefs, or from his work as a member of the press in trying to ensure that a complete and unbiased presentation of Americans voicing their concerns. But today, Michael is here not as a businessman or a member of the press, but as a concerned American that is seeking to share his vision on how to improve Congress and our government. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Michael Vasquez.
Hello, Michael. I thank you for introducing me today, and more importantly, I thank you all for having me here today to be able to speak with you. I hope that we're going to have more opportunities going forward. In fact, I expect it. But I just want to take a moment to tell you about what I was going through as I was thinking about this moment today, getting ready to come here and to speak with you all. Now, some of you may have heard of me before, some of the speeches I've done, some of the writing I've done. And I was thinking about what speech I could have today, how I could speak with you and let you know more about me. But the more I wrote and the more I thought about what I was writing, it kept dawning on me. It became very apparent. We have far too many politicians today that have been spending a lot of time speaking to us, not with us. We have a lot of politicians who give us their campaign speech, and they have no conviction on what they've actually said, and they don't follow through with that when they do get into Congress. These are problems that we need to correct. And because of that, today I want to take an opportunity not to speak to you, but to start and engage in a conversation that I expect to go on, not just now as I go through my efforts in exploration and hopefully a run for Congress, but also, if you would, elect me to be in Congress as well. Because I think that's what's missing from Congress right now. That's what's missing from our government right now. But I will have some cheat sheets, so don't mind that. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Michael Vasquez. Many of you may have seen me or heard from me over the internet as I did my work with the press and as a blogger and a political commentator. And you may have noticed that name is Michael Vass, V-A-S-S. We're the same person. That name is my business name. I am a business owner. And it's something that we've all seen the internet, heard the stories, gave me a level of anonymity that I wanted to maintain just to protect myself and my business. But as someone who is exploring a run for Congress, I believe in full disclosure. I want you to know who I am. I want you to know everything about me. Not only what I've written over the last 7 years, but I also want to know who I am as I speak to you and put the two together, because they're the same person. So if you see that, or if you hear me refer to myself as Michael Vass, it's a habit. I've been doing it for 7 years. We're both the same person. But going back a little bit further, let me step back. I'm 45 years old. I live here in Binghamton. I'm a homeowner. As I mentioned, I'm a business owner as well. I've served in the Marines. Went to college. Went to high school in the Bronx. Went to college in Brunswick, New Jersey, for Rutgers University. I've lived in Russia, in Moscow, Tbilisi, Riga. Yes, I do speak some Russian, far better than my Spanish, and both of them are pretty bad these days without practice. And I've lived on both coasts of the United States. Been pretty active and pretty busy. I'm a former stockbroker, and I currently hold a auto insurance and insurance license in New York State. Now, I bring up all of these things for a specific reason. I'm just like everyone else here. I work hard, I work every day. I just came from work. And I'm going to spend the rest of my day working on the campaign. Tomorrow I'm going to go to work and get to campaign. Like most of us, I'm working essentially 2 jobs, full time. Not that uncommon these days. Before this, with my business, working on the internet, political commentary, I spent even more time. Like all of us, we're small business owners, those who know who are, we work really hard for our money. And for the most part, these days, it feels like we're being forgotten, taken advantage of. And that's true not just for the small business owner, but that's true for us as the individual. We need to change that. And there are specific ways we can do so. The most important thing that I can possibly tell you about myself, about my views, is the #1 thing that I believe is important for Congress, for this country, and going forward. That one item is a connection to Congress, to government, to our representatives at every level. Because, let's remember, they are our representatives. They are here to take the lead from us on our concerns, on the issues we believe in, and then go to Congress or to whatever level of government and speak on our behalf, fight for the issues we believe in, and come up with cohesive laws that benefit the nation and their communities. That is their purpose. That is their obligation. And it is also the #1 thing they are not doing at this time. For far too long, we've seen a government that is run by political parties and special interests that have little to nothing to do with what we actually want to see happen in this government. And I'll give you one great example of that we've all heard about, the national debt. We can keep going beyond that, but I think the stark image of $17 trillion in debt that's been built up over the last 3-4 decades is answer enough that there is a disconnection between what we believe, because each and every one of you, every day, like myself, balance our budgets, and our government, which cannot and refuses to, and more importantly, refuses to even acknowledge that it's supposed to. Now, I also want to mention something else that's very important. I'm not a politician. I have never had an intention to become a politician. I truly have no desire to go forward for the rest of my life as a politician. I have an exploratory committee right now to investigate a run for the 22nd District of Congress that we are part of. Not because I have some goal to be in Congress for the rest of my life. That is not the purpose of Congress. That's not why it was created. That is not their intention. The reason why I'm looking to do this is because we have a problem. And the problem is bad. And it is not getting better. And we need to take action to make it better, to improve this for all of us and the generations after us. And if we don't start taking that actively, stepping up there and making the changes, we're going to soon find ourselves in a position as a country where there is no return. That is my fear. So I'm looking at going forward, not because I want to, not because I think it's some grand purpose that I've been born into, but more importantly, not for my ego, but more importantly, because I believe as a member of the community, we need this. We need this for ourselves in the 22nd District, but also because we need this as a country. And every step we take towards returning to people, we become stronger, we become more secure, and we become better for our generation and the next ones to follow. Now, let me look at what are we talking about when I say what's the connection between us and Congress. Well, right now, just last week, recent polls have come out 61% of America, 61% believe the nation is on the wrong track. 16% of Americans approve of Congress and the job that it's doing at this time. 60% of the people in the nation think that conservatives have been unfairly targeted by various organizations of the government, not just the IRS. And 54% of the nation finds Obamacare to be unfavorable. These are incredible numbers. These are important numbers. It tells us very clearly there is a problem. It is a big problem. It is a disconnection between what government is doing and what they believe is beneficial to them and what we believe is the best path forward for the nation and the country. And these numbers can't be any more stark. There is no example of something that is less unanimous than 16% of people believe. That's 84% of the nation believes Congress is messed up, that it's not doing the right job, that it's not doing what they're there for. Their representatives are not representing the people. Now I'll add something else to that, and I want you to think about that. What is the re-election rate for these members of Congress? I'll ask you another question. Why? I'll give you the answer that I believe it is. We don't have a choice. We have two parties. We have a candidate that's been picked by this party or that party, someone who's risen up through the ranks, learned to become a politician, and like most of Congress, which is currently dominated by over 300 career politicians, they get into that machine and they follow the party line and they go up and they're the next one up on the line. Well, if we're making, I don't know, cars, that's fantastic. We have factories, a line on factory, we churn out the cars. That's fantastic. This isn't. This is our lives we're talking about. This is our government we're talking about. You can't have a machine in people's lives. It doesn't work. It's not effective. It is prone to making problems because people are more dynamic than a machine. And that's one of the problems. Let's try and address that. Let's go back and deal with that. How do we do that? Well, first thing is, how about we elect people who actually know what it is to be one of us? I'll give you a great example. I don't know how many people here since 2009, I am sure, if not you, you know someone who's in foreclosure, possibly actually lost their house since 2009 when the recession hit. You probably know one of the 1.3 million people who are small business owners that folded over the last 5 years now with this recession that hit. Well, guess what? My business folded. Yes, it did. And you know what? I've been in foreclosure twice. I've kept my home with great effort and great difficulty, but I know what that feels like. And you know what? I would have loved to have the day when my representative came down and said, hey, there's a program out there, and these are the steps you go through to get that program to work so you can save your home. Not to give me my home, not to take away the burden of my home, but to give me the opportunity to work to keep it. Because that's my home, it's my debt, I accepted that. All I want to do is give me the opportunity to make this process work. Because you're talking about it in Congress, you're on the TV talking about it, but no one's telling me how to do it. Wouldn't it be nice if they did that? Wouldn't it have been nice for you or one of your neighbors to have heard that? Wouldn't it be nice to find out as a business owner that there was that opportunity?